let's also take a look at the Canada. I'm going to pull up the Canada and crude oil together. Crude's a lot of the reason why we're looking at this weakness, obviously. So let me go ahead and overlay crude oil here, and I'll put crude oil in basically a dull blue. Okay, there we go. So there's crude heading lower. There's the Canada. Now let's talk about the crude oil Canada connection here. The loonie generates a lot of strength. The loonie itself, the Canadian dollar itself, generates a lot of momentum with the rise and fall of crude oil. A COMDOL, a commodity currency like the dollar Canada, will take its cue from a major commodity that affects the Canadian economy. Energies, namely crude. So as crude oil sinks, it's affecting the loonie itself, and that loonie being weakened by weaker and weaker crude oil prices is going to allow what is already a pretty strongly rallying US dollar to gain strength over the Canadian dollar. So when the dollar, US dollar, is gaining strength on the Canada, let's overlay the Canada here and the US dollar. When the dollar is able to gain strength over the Canadian dollar, the plotting of the chart of the dollar Canada is in an uptrend. So correlation wise, it's a sympathetic movement between the chart of the dollar Canada and the dollar index. And the story that's being told there with this uptrend right now, or this move higher, is the dollar index gaining over the loonie. Okay, so sympathetic movement between the dollar Canada and the US dollar index. The crude oil market sinking, the US dollar index chart moving up higher. The net effect is going to be pressure on the loonie. Okay, but I got to admit, you take a look at this 240 minute chart of the dollar Canada, or you jump out to the daily chart of the dollar Canada. It's not as, with crude oil sinking through 60, with the dollar hitting 87 and trying to get some support over 87, the crude oil market's hanging in there. It's broken above that 1.2000 level, which was a pretty important psychological level. But we've managed to find our way about 50 pips north of that. Not a lot of dramatic movement, is there? Well, we got to go back to what today is. There is a bank holiday, and I don't think you can underestimate that. Does that mean there's going to be less volume? Sure. Bank holiday in Canada, we're looking at the dollar Canada, so let's not underestimate that. Even though the dollar is moving, dollar index, and even though crude oil is moving, don't underestimate what that bank holiday is doing here.